Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Today we got a real special build here. We're going to restore a Hot Wheels Redline Police Cruiser. Now this car was modeled after an Oldsmobile 442. The hood pin on here is broken, so we're going to have to address that later for sure. I got a few ideas how I want to do that, but we'll do the best we can with it. It's every situation is unique and different, so this is going to be the major thing for this car. Looks like it was painted by a kid, but we're going to fix all that and make it look really nice. The base itself is in good shape. There's a lot of carpet fibers stuck in the axles, so we're going to have to clean those all out. The back wheels are the cap style wheels, and the front wheels are a hollow style Redline wheel, and I don't know why Hot Wheels went to that because they suck. The windshield has got some paint on it, it's got some scratches, so we're going to have to clean that up and fix that. The interior is dirty, so we'll have to clean that up with soapy water and a toothbrush. And the little red light that goes on top, the globe, is scratched up, so we're going to have to clean that up and dip it in the Gauzy or the Pledge Revive. Let's move on. Whenever I take a car apart, I go to the dollar store and I pick up some of these containers. Now they come 4 for $1. And then I put all the pieces in there so I don't lose them, and then I put a piece of tape on there to let me know what car is inside these containers. Guys, here's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. Keep track of your stuff and you won't lose it and you'll be happy. Now we're going to stick the base in a mixture of Lime Away and water. I did the best I could to clean out the carpet fuzz. I'm going to go ahead and leave the wheels on there because the Lime Away and water mixture does not affect the plastic at all. So that'll be cool. So, like I said, it's a 50-50 mixture of Lime Away and water. And we're going to go ahead and leave it in that mixture for approximately 3.5 to 4 minutes. Now this is kind of boring, so we're going to speed up the action here, and it's pretty cool to watch this stuff all sped up, and this is sped up 5 times normal speed. Let's sit back and enjoy the bubbles. I see all those bubbles, it makes me want to have a beer. Excuse me, an adult beverage. Since there's not supposed to be any children under 14 without parental supervision here. Now take a brass brush and scrub off the excess tarnish, and that'll make it look really, really good. It's definitely looking better already. Now I want to replace these wheels. I'm going to have to take out the old wheels because that's the only way to replace them, unfortunately. So I'm going to use my Dremel, my little grinding wheel here, and we're going to take out the axles and we're going to replace them. Go ahead and grind them down as best you can and then get them pulled out, and then we'll replace them. Now that we got the wheels off the base, this is an opportune time to go ahead and polish it up. So we're going to use this Flitz polish. This is great stuff. I love Flitz polish. I also use Blue Magic Metal Polish Cream. Both of them are a fantastic product. I do prefer the Flitz, and that's what we're going to use today. Now this car that I'm doing is for a subscriber of the channel. So if you happen to have something you want redone, or something restored or customs made, just let me know. Let's talk. Go ahead and get your polishing wheel out there with your battery-powered Dremel. Now I do have a Dremel with a cord, but it's like 30 some odd years old and it makes a lot of noise. So I keep it now more as a backup. But that Flitz polish, man, that stuff works great. Look at that. That is so nice. Now I know it didn't look this good coming from the factory. Now that it's all done, let's go ahead and wipe it down with a cloth. Now, if you have to, get in there around the letters and stuff like that with a toothbrush and get that little residue out of there. Man, that looks nice. Let's move on. Now that we got the polishing done, sometimes after you polish these things, they get tarnished up again later on. So I'm going to use some of this Renaissance wax. Now you can find this Renaissance wax at my Amazon storefront, and there is a link to the Amazon storefront in the comments section. Now normally what you have to do with this wax, and this is used in the museum industry and the jewelry industry, etc. And I want to throw a shout out to Paul at Fat Guy Productions for showing me this product. This stuff works really good. In the museums and like that, they put this on metal to keep it from tarnishing. Now normally you just have to wipe it on and wipe it off with a cloth. I figured, you know, I'll try it with a buffing wheel here and see if I can get it worked in a little bit better. You know what? It's just as good wiping it on with a cloth and wiping it off. So I thought I would try it with the wheel. Sometimes things work. Sometimes they go, it didn't work that good. And that's one of those times. But anyways, the Renaissance wax itself works fantastic, and I recommend it. Now a little jar like that you saw, a little can, it's I think it's about $8 or $9, maybe a little bit more. But if you find it on my Amazon storefront page, if you buy it there, I get a few pennies off every sale. It's not a big deal. But if you want some, I definitely recommend it. We've got that on now. Let's go ahead and wipe it down. I'm really happy with the way the base turned out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. Man, that looks sweet. Like I said, it didn't look this good coming from the Mattel factory. Very happy with the way that product works. Let's get the wheels on now. Here I've got some cap style wheels and axles. We're going to fit those on this car and we're going to glue them into place. I put the glue on first because I want to have the axle go into the glue and make sure that it's attached to the base firmly. Again, please check out my Amazon store. You can get this little vise there too. Very inexpensive and it works fantastic. Now here I'm just using the vise to lean the car on, but I use it for so many other things, like to hold pieces together while I glue them, or to hold them when I drill or polish or buff or anything. Fantastic piece of equipment. Now it's time to let it dry. Now you can use the super glue accelerator, but here it really wasn't necessary. Now it's time to put the Redline wheels on. I got these wheels at the Redline shop. I get almost all my products from the Redline shop, especially when it comes to restoring my old Hot Wheels, my old Redlines. But a lot of the paints and everything that they have, you can use those for the newer cars too if you happen to be doing customs and everything. Especially that beautiful Spectre Flame paint. Fantastic. These new Redline wheels on this car are going to look absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Man, they look sweet. Let's move on. Now it's time to attack the windshield. It's pretty dirty and it's scratched up and it's got paint on it. So we're going to use a fine grit sandpaper. Here I've got some 1200 wet sandpaper. Now sometimes I just don't wet it. I just use the sandpaper itself, and that's totally and completely up to you. But I will start out with a small grit like this. Sometimes, depending on how bad it is, maybe a little bit more aggressive grip, like an 800 or something like that. But this definitely took that paint off. That's looking good. Does have some deeper scratches in there, but we'll be able to polish that out a little bit. Let's go ahead and touch that back up just a little bit too. Once I finish this, I'm going to use that Meguiar's Plastex polish, and we'll polish it up, and then we're going to dip it in the faithful Gauzy. Looking good. Now I've got my Gauzy. I take my time and rotate the jar, because if you shake it too much, it gets a lot of bubbles in it, and you don't want those bubbles forming on your plastic windshield. So slowly turn it like that. And again, you're still going to get a few bubbles. You go ahead and pop those bad boys out of the way. Now you can get this at my Amazon store page also. Now whether you use Gauzy or whether you use Pledge Revive or whatever, it's up to you. The Gauzy's fantastic. It works. It's proven. So is the Pledge Revive if you can find it. Now I had a hard time finding some, and I finally did. But the Pledge Revive is a better bargain because you get a lot more for less money. But I definitely like the Gauzy also. It's a fantastic product. Now once you've dipped it in the Gauzy, then you're going to put it on some paper towels. You're going to wick off the excess, and then you're going to put it in a container of some kind to keep the dust off of it until it dries. Usually dries in an hour or so. So I let mine sit overnight or even longer sometimes. Gauzy, check it out. Now before we do the hood repair, we're going to have to strip the paint. The reason that you strip the paint first is because if you do the hood repair and you're using your super glue or your epoxy or whatever, the paint stripper can affect that glue, and you definitely don't want to have it fall apart once you fix it. So we put it in the embalming fluid. And there's your second tip today from your Uncle Paulie. We got it out of the paint stripper. We still have to clean it up some. Now, like I said, the pin on the one side is broken. That one's in good shape, obviously, but the second pin is broken. So we're going to have to address that. Here I've taken some of this K&S brass tubing, and it fits right inside that little hinge, like that. So we're going to cut a small piece, and we're going to glue that in place. Now a paper clip fits perfectly on the inside of that tube. So we're going to fabricate another hinge, just like this. Once we get that little piece glued in place and let that set up, then we'll start to fabricate the paper clip to make a hinge. At least that's my idea. This is a little bit of a long process, but basically what I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to take that tube, put it in that little area there with the clip, and I'm going to glue it in place. And then when I'm done and I bend that paper clip, I'm going to glue it to the back wall where the engine sits. At least that's what I want to do in theory. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Here I've got the little bearing, or the little tube, glued in place. That's sitting in there real good. It's exactly what I wanted to do. Yeah, that's going to work out fantastic. Yeah, the supervisor stopped by to check out my work to make sure that I'm doing it right. Okay, I took the paper clip and I super glued it in place after I put it into the little hinge. Still a little bit tacky in there. I didn't let it sit enough, but we'll hit it with some super glue accelerator and that'll dry it up. But it works fantastic. I'm really happy with that. Now we can paint the car. Let's go ahead and move on. Now this car here, this police cruiser, is painted white. So I'm going to use the white enamel that I got from the Redline shop. They got a bunch of other enamels, or I want to say enamels, I mean opaques. They got a bunch of other opaques. They've got red, orange, green, blue, yellow, black, white. Check out all their paints at the Redline shop. Besides the Spectre Flame paints, they got these opaque paints. We'll give it a few coats, little tack coats. We'll let it dry, and then we'll hit it again. That's looking so much better already. Now I've already got the decals for this job too. We'll talk about those once this paint dries. So we're going to go ahead and let this sit overnight once it's done. Let it harden up. And then we'll put the decals on, and that'll look great.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
Now it's time to put the decals on. I picked up these decals from Second Chance Redlines. Vince Scott does an excellent job. Now normally I get my decals from Kenny Terry, but I've had these in stock for a while, and I'm going to go ahead and use them up. Get your car wet, place your decal, let it sit there in the water for about 10 seconds, and then position it the way you want to. When you get it where you want to, go ahead and take yourself a cotton bud or a Q-tip, whatever you call them. I call them Q-tips. And then squeegee out the remaining water. Now you can still move it around a little bit, and if it decides to stick, then go ahead and put some more water on top of it and you can float it again. That's really nice. Looking good. We got a couple more decals to put on. Got this little number in the front. I'm assuming that's the car number. Just be real careful. Place them where you want to. Now, if I have a question of where the decals go, I'll just do a real quick search on the internet, or I'll open up some of my reference books that I have for Hot Wheels, and it'll give you a good idea where these decals are supposed to go. Just go ahead and dry it out once you get it placed using that Q-tip. Just a little bit off. There we go. That's looking good there. All right, and we got one more decal to put on, and then we got to do the other side. There we got this little decal here that says radar. Get it where you want it. Squeegee out the excess water. And make sure it's in the position you want it to be. It's still a little bit wet underneath, but it'll set eventually. Just a little bit off. That's looking good. Now, keep messing with it, you're gonna make it crooked again. Alright, we got the other side done. That looks good. Now I'm going to go over the main decal, the one that says State Police there with microset. Over there in the corner, there's a door handle. Now you want to make sure that that decal is lying flat. The microset, really, it literally starts to make the decal soft, and then you can form it around complex corners. And that's what that microset does. Now we're going to clear coat it. Now I did let it dry approximately 10 hours before I decided to do this. Sometimes I just let it sit overnight. I got the clear coat that I'm using here at the Redline shop. Just like all my paints that I get and all the parts that I get, everything like that for these older Redlines I get at the Redline shop. And you should too. They're great products. John gets them out fast to you, and he's got great customer service. Just put on some light coats, just enough to cover the decal at first because you don't want to saturate it, because sometimes these decals can run, depending, and if you get them from a reputable shop like Kenny Terry or Vince Scott over there at Second Chance Redlines. But if you make your own whatever, you're liable to get that ink to run, so be careful. Here we've got all of our parts. We got the body. That turned out fantastic. That was a lot of fun. The hood works, we fixed it. I'm very happy with that. Both sides look the same. That's fantastic. Here's the base. I went in and did some detail, did the grille, the headlights, the front turn signals, the rear lights, polished it all up. Brand new Redline tires from the Redline shop. The interior looks fantastic. That'll go in. The windshield, we did that with the gauzy. That turned out fantastic too. And the little globe light, we sanded that down, and we did that with the gauzy also. Let's put it together and see what we got. And here's what we started with. This police cruiser fashioned after an Oldsmobile 442. Definitely looks like it was painted by a kid, either by marker or whatever, but it's well played with, folks, and it definitely needed some TLC to bring it back to its former glory. We took the car apart. We noticed that the hood was broken. We went ahead and we fixed the hood. That was a booger, but we went ahead and we got it, and it works fantastic. Now, any way you decide to do the hood, that was just one idea. I'll have some more hood repairs in future videos to show you how to do those, and we'll be using some of those Redline parts that I get from the Redline shop. The paint, we redid the paint, we redid the wheels with brand new wheels. We brand new axles and everything also. We did the glass, we did the globe, and it turned out fantastic. And this is what we got to. Look at how fantastic that turned out. Using the parts that you can get from the Redline shop, the decals from Second Chance Redlines, or from Kenny Terry. I love Kenny Terry's work, and I'll be using a lot of his stuff in future videos. We detailed the lights, we detailed the headlights, the grille. We put the brand new deep dish Redline wheels, cap style wheels on there. We repaired the hood, we did the glass, we did the globe, and we put those great decals on, and then we gave it a wonderful clear coat to protect the decals. This is for one of my subscribers, Steve. I know he's gonna love this because of the shape it was in when I got it and what it looks like now. What a beautiful job. If you've got something you want me to restore or customize, just get a hold of me in the comments section and I'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. I want to thank my Patreon subscribers, Grim Reaper Level, William Robinson, Dale Johnson, Ed Ostrander, and Richard Reese. Mortician Level, Jake Rademacher, Sam Pascal, Air Warrior Coffee, and Ricky Montalvo. Thank you so much, guys. Funeral Director, Double B's Customs and Facebook. Check him out. Diecast Sheriff and new member Dave Christensen. Thank you so much. Gravedigger Level, Trevor DeViz, Wade Hendricks, Les Jenkins, thank you so much. Hearst Driver Level, Pete Langford, Diecast Pirate, Ronald Raby. Gentlemen, I can't do this without you. Thank you so much. Check the link in the comments. This video was brought to you by the Redline Shop. The Redline Shop offers a complete line of decals, tools to take your car apart, put them back together, replacement hoods, replacement glass, those beautiful Redline tires, and of course, the world famous Spectre Flame paints. Fantastic products. The Redline Shop at www.redlineshop.com, where Redlines come to life. Thanks for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. It was a lot of fun, and I love doing these restorations and bringing these old Redlines back to life. I look forward to you subscribing and giving it a good thumbs up. Please give it a thumbs up, and my name is Paul, and cheers.